Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod, here to talk about Survivor Season 50, Episode 3, titled Did You Vote for a Swap? Last week on Survivor, it was a crappy week for Sela when they lost their second immunity challenge and ultimately decided to flush Savannah from the game. Before I dive in, I put links in the description and my pinned comment to my playlist to catch up on my previous recaps and try Paramount Plus for free. If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing to get more same-day Survivor recaps. But let's dive into it. We pick back up where we left off. It's night 6 and the Selas are heading back to camp. After Tribal, Christian is still selling that he was feeling woozy at Tribal, where he staged a fall to distract the group while Devins planted a fake idol at Tribal. Devins and Christian celebrate. Christian tells us someday his son Michael will want to perform heists just like his dad. We finally get opening credits, complete with Coach Chi and the most Tiffany screen time we've seen all season. The next day, gorgeous sunrise and tree mail hinting that they have a tribe swap coming. Christian and Devins plan to tell their allies, Suri and Emily, that Devins found the boomerang idol and gave it to his ex-castmate Aubrey, even though Christian found it. Devins stages the reveal, with Christian turning on his shocked acting. Suri loves being told this. Devins earns her trust with that, but they don't have time to tell Emily. So players head to meet Jeff, where Rizzo sees his bestie Savannah is gone. Jeff leads the group in snapping their hands, spitting bars how we voted as the fans. Not the usual Jeff Matt chat, but Jeff Probst really ate that. Through the power of song, he tells them all to be tough and hope to get lucky. Time to drop that buff. It's revealed that we voted for a tribe swap, so Christian in the last moment whispers to Emily that they found an idol and gave it to Aubrey. Emily's so confused, and this makes Emily second guess her allies for not telling her. So they drop their buffs. Charlie says he's pissed at the fans for voting this way, but Christian asks him, Charlie, did you vote for a swap? Oop, Christian asked the thing. And oop, Charlie did vote for a swap, pissing himself off. Story of my life. They learn their fate. 3 tribes still. There's Orange Sela with Charlie, Dee, Jonathan, Camilla, Rizzo, Suri, and Devins, Callow, Aubrey, Joe, Genevieve, Coach, Tiffany, Chrissy, and Colby, and Purple Vatu, Christian, Mike, Emily, Ozzy, Stephanie, Q, and Angelina. Jeff sends them right back to camp, where on Callow, Joe is happy he got Coach and Colby, who he wants to play with. They quickly make an alliance, with Colby reminiscing about getting frog marched by Coach, but Colby likes Coach, saying he never had a problem with Coach. Coach loves Joe's honor and integrity, and wants to bring Chrissy into the alliance. Knowing that Chrissy was in trouble at the last tribal, Coach tells Chrissy to settle down and not talk too much on the new tribe. Chrissy gets emotional and cries to Genevieve and Aubrey about not being liked by her tribe mates on her previous season, sharing with us that she recently went through surgeries to prevent cancer, saying she stayed tough through that, but this is breaking her down. But Chrissy is appreciative that Coach had warned her and is going to take the feedback. At New Sela, Camilla is happy that the previous Kalos are in the majority. Suri is concerned. She and Devins are in the minority with the Riz God. She's doing her best to smile and laugh. Dee tells us her friends back home told her she's got to get Suri out of the game. Jonathan agrees. If they lose, they have to take out Suri. At New Vatu, Mike is the only old Kalu, but luckily he's got his old friends, Christian and Angelina, and somehow he knows Ozzy from the restaurant industry. Q has no vote and tells Ozzy about the boomerang idol and that Genevieve sent it to him. Q and Ozzy bring Emily in. Emily tells them that she doesn't trust Christian anymore, telling them that Christian dropped on her last minute that Aubrey has that idol. These 3 want to target Angelina. Q also brings Stephanie in as the 4th member of this group, confirming to Stephanie that Aubrey did have an idol at their old camp. Q tells us that David vs. Goliath alliance can cancel Christmas, but Emily doesn't love that Q and Stephanie are bossing her around, and she's exploring other options. Angelina and Emily have a heart-to-heart where Angelina says she's a new version of herself. Angelina tells Emily about the Vatu's plans to vote out Rizzo and Genevieve, so Emily decides to fill Angelina in right away that Q and Stephanie are coming for her. As they connect, Angelina gets emotional and confessional, appreciating the honesty from Emily, and they hug it out. That was nice. Christian is the last person on Emily's tour of chaos. She tells him that she told everyone about his whispers and Aubrey's idol. Christian is rightfully frustrated with her, but Christian's plan is just to make a 4-person alliance with the David vs. Goliaths and Emily. 4-person majority, problem solved. Over on Callow, Genevieve is trying to build her game back up and make friends. She's canvassing, telling everyone she feels good with them, and promising everyone safety, calling it her new and improved social game. Genevieve still wants Aubrey gone and starts a campaign against Aubrey, telling everyone about their tense conversation on their old tribe. Tiffany loves Aubrey and wants to work with her, so she runs Genevieve's campaign right back to Aubrey, who is shocked but not surprised. Aubrey now feels loyal to Tiffany. Back on Sela, Rizzo is trying to make everyone love him, but he's alone on this tribe. He knows Charlie has something to prove and wants to take advantage of it, so he tells Charlie about the Billie Eilish idol and that Genevieve sent their tribes to Ozzy. Charlie is gagged, but Charlie Charlie can't get past the previous night, where Rizzo told the group that Sophie B was his #1 ally, and he voted Savannah to win over Sophie B. Charlie is triggered that Rizzo is basically Sophie B's Maria, and now he wants Rizzo out of the game. Can we get a fact check on Sophie B being Rizzo's #1? Players head to their challenge, where most of them will be blindfolded, their callers guiding them to find rings at stations. Then they'll head to a puzzle, where the caller will also guide them, still blindfolded, through assembling the puzzle. The first tribe to finish will win immunity and a bunch of chickens. Second place wins immunity and one lonely, sad chicken. Third place heads to tribal council and will vote someone out of the game. They get started with Chrissy, Camilla, and Christian as callers. Christian is using a sing-song military approach to call, which seems to be annoying his tribe. They tell him they'd rather him not navigate them. They're just gonna use sonar and vibes, I guess. Rizzo gets hit in what Jeff calls his noggin with a ring, and the Sealers get to a lead, getting to their puzzle first, which they complete, with Camilla having dragged their asses through this challenge. The other two tribes are working on their puzzle. Chrissy is running this puzzle like the Navy, and Christian struggles to communicate, leading to an immunity win for Kahlo. Jeff talks to the Batu losers, with Steph upset to go to her least favorite place, tribal council, still feeling the trauma from her original season. Hachim mama, that shark's gonna bite me. The David Goliath trio need one more vote to swing a majority on the 7-person tribe. They likely have Emily. Mike tells the others it's gonna be hard to get their trio to break up, so Mike publicly tells Stephanie he's gonna vote for her. Steph knows Q doesn't have a vote, and she doesn't want to tie the vote and go to rocks. Christian gives them some hope, telling Steph he'd be down to vote for Angelina. Mike's big plan is to tell the others that they're voting for Stephanie, but really all vote for Q. Angelina loves her old castmates. She was even on The White Lotus, with even a clip of her on the show. Emily is still torn about this vote. She wants to work with Ozzy, but also wants to vote with Christian and doesn't want to piss Christian off. Q has a new plan to protect his #1 Stephanie. He wants to get Mike, and only Mike, to vote for Q instead of Stephanie. So Q lies to Mike, telling Mike he has an extra vote, and basically telling Mike to vote for him. Mike runs this right back to Emily. Neither of them believe Q has an extra vote. Emily at this point tells us voting out Q sounds delicious, so she puts more effort into getting Ozzy to vote along with them against Q, who's now donning his Q skirt. So they head to tribal. Angelina in her jacket. Talk at tribal is Jeff saying the name of snacks and everyone groaning in agony. Angelina shares she's grown as a person and wants to show a different version of herself. Mike talks about the highs and lows. Christian chimes in that it's all about death and rebirth in the game. Jeff points out that Ozzy is winless. So far, he's a big lahoozer this season. Hugh calls this tribal a test. If they fail, they'll be back there the next day. And they get to voting, with Mike voting for Q, saying, "You told me to do it." Ozzy doesn't play his idol, and in the end, there's one vote in that thing for Angelina from Stephanie, and 5 for Q from everyone else. So we lose Q here, who had a rough start to the game, losing his vote and not having said vote for the whole time he was out there. I give him credit for getting into the majority alliance on his tribe and doing better at tribal challenges than his last season, which was some redemption. Sucks that he lost Kyle, his ally who had a vote. I for a second believed that Q was going to avenge Kyle's ankle, but this tribe swap, not good for him. He was the obvious person to vote out, being a strong player who was gunning hard against Angelina, who the others were protecting, and they knew he had no vote because Ozzy took his vote. Overall, it was more of the same. The Q skirt, cancel Christmas, wish we had more of my favorite, big mistake, and also wish there were new catchphrases, but it was overall what you would expect. And he's an early boot here, pretty unsurprisingly. Let's look at these tribes ahead of next week. On Sela, we have the majority alliance of Kalos, who have no real reason to turn on each other. If this tribe goes to tribal, they very well could take out any of the other 3. It could get interesting if Sari and Devins team up with Rizzo. They play Sari's extra vote, use the fake idol to spook the others. That would be cinema, but with Dee and Jonathan on this tribe, and Camilla for the puzzles, hard to imagine they'll lose immunity. There's the Kalos, where there's the majority of Coach, Joe, Colby, and Chrissy. I'd be shocked if that broke up. Then there's Aubrey, Tiffany, and Genevieve on the bottom, seeming to be so distracted by going against each other, they're not noticing they should band together and use Aubrey's idol to help themselves. If nothing changes, it'll just be a showdown between Aubrey and Genevieve. Could be a great episode if true. And the Vatus, who just went to tribal, Steph on the outs having voted wrong, but also looking silly in the game for voting wrong. If this tribe goes to tribal, Steph is in deep doo-doo, the obvious person to vote for, but she's such a non-threat to win, that would be a waste. Ozzy still has his idol, and has been smartly not playing it. Oscar really is intuiting this season. There's the DVG3, with Christian running this season. A big issue for Christian was Emily, who was so fun this episode, blabbing everything to everyone, earning trust with everyone, somehow, and getting no blowback, at least not so far for being chaotic. I'm enjoying Emily this season. She was the player of the episode for me, for spreading information, getting in the majority, and getting Ozzy to vote along with them. I hope this tribe doesn't go to tribal next week. I came too close to losing Angelina tonight. So that's all I have for you this week. Check the pinned comment for my P+ link. If you like this video, like it, cause because I made it. And don't miss the next one. Subscribe unless you hate it. It's my last time rapping. Please don't mind me. Until the next time, baby, you know where to find me. Bye.